Engine fires for 12 minutes.
Just thinking, I think this is the first burn in the vicinity of the moon that's on this side.
Okay, sequence camera coming on.
First descent propulsion system burn on this side. Right,
No,
yes.
any burn of any magnitude at all. See, all of our corrected burns are on the back side of the moon.
Oh, yes, that's right. On Apollo 10, they came on up to apogee and then fired
Yes.
to go into the... That's right. And by that time, they're on the far side again.
Eagle Houston, if you'd like to try high gain, pitch 212, yaw 37, over.
They've got a minute and a half.
Roger, I think I've got you on high gain now. Roger. Coming up on 1 minute to ignition.
1 minute to ignition and 13 minutes to
Can
landing.
you get the angles, though? I'll let them in to use them before we yaw around. Roger, pitch 212, yaw plus 37.
Don't know that we could take the tension if they decide to go around again.
Arm descent.
40 seconds.
Number?
30 seconds.
Current altitude about 46,000 feet, continuing to descend.
I'm just wondering,
15 seconds.
as Newell Trask is sitting here with us, how the moon looks to him as we're coming over. Do you think that's the right place?
Yes, that looks like the right place.
We should have a countdown now.
Lights on. One, zero. Ignition 10%.
Ignition 10%. 10% throttle, I suppose that is. Wally?
Yes, it'll be programmed up as as they get closer to the surface. I think you have that data there. Yes. That's interesting. Maybe we're having a little ionic disturbance from the engine at this point. No problem, just the fact that it might be trouble getting communications through the plume.
Well, it would mean then that we would not have communication with them in this critical 12 minutes.
We've lost them. Tell them to go aft on me, over.
Our animation shows the engine firing.
Oh, good.
The lunar module is proceeding from right to left on your screen.
I'll leave it in flu. Relay to us. See if they got me now. I got good signal strength in flu. Yeah, you should have me now, Houston. Eagle, we got you now. It's looking good, over. Eagle, that looks good. Eagle, Houston, everything's looking good here, over.
I think you can hear a little excitement in Charlie Duke's voice.
Eagle, Houston, after yaw around, angled S-band pitch, -9er, yaw, plus 1/8. Copy.
Yeah, communications are in really good shape again.
Ags and things agree very closely. Roger.
Great.
10 minutes to the touchdown. Oh, boy. 10 minutes to a landing on the moon.
Right on. Altitude's a little high.
I think it's been almost 10 years since we've been trying to do this.
Now, just
2 minutes, 20 seconds, everything looking good. We show altitude about 47,000 feet.
Yeah.
Now, in about 4 minutes from now, they will get their first look at the landing area. So far, now, their heads are
getting a
down.
little fluctuation in the AC voltage now. Roger.
They're,
50 meter maybe, huh?
they are
Bye.
face down,
Looking
windows
good,
down.
You're still looking good. It's coming up 3 minutes.
Their feet forward.
That remark on that AC voltage was a meter possibly. The ground is not concerned with it.
Right.
So good.
They rolled now to the windows up position,
Position check downrange to us to be a little long.
as you just saw. In about 3 minutes now, they get that first look when they pitch up, going to more of an upright position. And they can look forward out their windows toward the landing site. At that point, they'll be about 3.5 miles high, making about 103 miles an hour forward with about 13 8/10 miles to go.
I think it's going to stop.
Seven minutes, 45 seconds to landing.
You're a go to continue at 4 minutes. Roger, you're a go to continue power descent. You're a go to continue power descent.
That's another major milestone.
Altitude 40,000.
This is a
Eagle
go,
Houston, we got data dropout. You're still looking good.
go, no-go decision at that point. They could abort the landing at that point if there had been a no-go decision. Got about 68 miles to go. Seven minutes left before landing.
Okay, we got good lock on.
They're at about
Altitude lights out.
35,000 feet high now.
LH is minus 2,900. Roger, we copy. That's the Earth, right out our front window. Houston, you looking at our Delta H? That's affirmative. Program alarm. Looking good to us, over. 1202. 1202.
Good radar data. Altitude now 33,500 feet.
Hal wasn't too far off.
I suspect that Hal may be just about right by the time
Give us a
Doug
reading on
Ward
the 1202 program alarm.
relays that to us, so he's probably a few
That's a
seconds
thought,
behind.
yeah.
Roger, we got you. We're going at alarm. Roger, 330. 6 plus 25, throttle down. 6 plus 25, throttle down. Roger, copy. 6 plus 25.
We're still go. Altitude 27,000 feet.
Same alarm, and it appears to come up when we have a 1668 up. Roger, copy.
What's this alarm, Wally?
It's a go case that
Eagle
just
Houston,
apparently
we'll
some
monitor your Delta down beautifully.
function that's coming up on the computer as a
Delta
verb,
H is looking good now. Roger, Delta H is looking good to us.
a verb-noun combination, no problem as I see it.
Throttle on time. Roger, copy, throttle down. Throttle down. Better in the simulator. Right.
They say it's better than the simulator. That's consoling.
Lights and things look real close.
Crowds around this country and all over the world are watching this, listening to these communications.
Altitude now 21,000 feet. Still
As
looking
closely
very
as
good.
we are. This is the International Arrivals Building, Kennedy Airport, with a big display board there. They see
Velocity
these
down
pictures.
now to 1,200 feet per
You're
second.
looking
This
great
is
to us, Eagle.
Disneyland in California.
Okay, I'm still on flu, so we may tend to lose as we gradually pitch over. Let me try auto again now, see what happens. Roger.
He's talking about the high gain antenna.
Okay, looks like it's holding. Roger, we got
good.
good data.
Makes the job easier.
They're down to just 14 miles to go and 4.5 minutes.
7 minutes, 30 seconds into the burn.
4.5 minutes left in this era.
Altitude 16,300 feet.
Oh, boy.
this great the way the communications is
Houston,
working.
it's descent to fuel to monitor, over. 72.
Altitude 13,005. Velocity
Going down
9,100
fast.
feet per second.
Made it, switch over time, please, Houston. Roger, stand by. You're looking great at 8 minutes.
Correction on that velocity, now reading 760 feet per second.
It's the P-64. Good.
760 feet per second
Roger.
on the way down. That's pretty slow for space flying.
It is. It's as slow as man has ever flown in space.
It sure is.
FIDO says we're go, altitude 9,200 feet.
8:30, you're looking great.
They're just about
Descent rate 129
approaching
feet per
high
second.
gate.
We copy.
That's the 7,600 foot level. 1.4 miles high when they get down to a speed of 98 miles an hour, and they're just a little under 5 miles from the landing site. At that point, they can pitch forward, get a really good view of the
Eagle, you're
landing
looking
site.
great. Coming up 9 minutes.
At that high
We're
gate,
now in the approach phase, everything looking good.
as they're inside the high
Altitude
gate,
5,200 feet.
5,200 feet, less than a mile from the moon's surface.
Manual attitude control is good. Roger, copy.
Altitude 4,200.
Houston, you're a go for landing, over.
Oh, great go.
Roger, understand. Go for landing. 3,000 feet. Copy. Alarm.
3,000 feet. Ooh. Delta landing, meaning they're on their spot, huh?
Roger, 1201 alarm. We're go. Same tide. We're go. 2,000 feet. 2,000 feet. Into the ag. 47 degrees. Roger. 47 degrees.
Just these communications, too. We're getting this readout perfect.
Eagle looking great. Your go.
Altitude 1,600.
Oh, this is...
They've got a good look at their site now. This is the critical
1,400
time. If they're
feet,
going to
still
hover,
looking
they're
very
going to
good.
make a decision. Apparently they're go,
Roger,
though.
1202. We copy it. 35 degrees. 35 degrees. 750. Coming down to 23.
Boy.
700 feet. 21 down. 33 degrees.
Oh, the data's coming in beautifully.
100 feet down at 19. 540 feet down at 30. Down at 15. Okay, 400 feet down at 9. Gate forward. 1050 feet down at 4. 33 and a half down. They're pegged on horizontal velocity. 300 feet down, 3.5. 47 forward. Put up. Down 1.5 down. 70. Epic shadow out there. 50 down at 2.5. 19 forward. Altitude, velocity, light. 3.5 down. 220 feet. 13 forward. 11 forward, coming down nicely. 200 feet. 4.5 down. 5.5 down. 160 feet. 6.5 down. 5.5 down. 9 forward. Good. 120 feet. 100 feet, 3.5 down, 9 forward. 5%. 185. Okay, 75 feet. Guys looking good, down a half. 6 forward. 60 seconds. Lights on. 6. Down 2.5. Forward. Forward. Good. 40 feet down, 2.5. Picking up some dust. 30 feet, 2.5 down. Straight shadow. 4 forward. 4 forward. Drifting to the right a little. 20, down a half. 30 seconds. Forward. Just. Good. Okay. Contact light. Okay, engine stop. ACA at a descent. Mode control, both auto, decent engine command override off. Engine arm
We're
on.
home.
413 is in.
Man on the moon.
We copy you down, Eagle. Houston,
Oh, jeez.
Tranquility Base here. The Eagle has landed. Roger, Tranquility. We copy you on the ground. You got a bunch of guys about to turn blue. We're breathing again. Thanks a lot.
Woo.
Oh, boy.
Thank you. You're
Wow.
looking good here.
Boy.
Okay, we're going to be busy for a minute. Master Armstrong, take care of the defense. I'll get this bus repaired.
Wally, say something. I'm speechless.
I'm just trying to hold on to my breath. That is really something.
Very smooth touchdown.
Kind of nice to be aboard on this one, isn't it?
You know, we've been wondering what this guy Armstrong or Aldrin would say. He stepped foot on the moon, which comes a little bit later now.
That's good.
And just to hear him do it, we're left here absolutely with dry mouths and speechless.
Hey, it looks like we're bending the oxidizer now. Roger, Eagle, and you're stay for T1. Over. Eagle, you're stay for T1. Roger. And we Sam stay for T1. Roger, and we see you venting the ox. Roger.
It's a great simulation of what you can see there, if you could see it.
That little fly speck is supposed to be a limb.
Gee, they must be in a perfect position, upright. We've heard no complaints about their position.
Just
They
a one,
landed right in.
just a little dust. Even that concern was
Yeah.
erased.
Wow. And there they sit on the moon. Just exactly nominal, wasn't it? Exactly as a flight plan all the way down. Man planning this thing on the surface of the earth. My golly. We're done.
You know, it's funny, too,
Copy,
'cause
now 60, now 43. Roger, we have it.
Yes, sir. I read Columbia on the high game.
Roger, we ring Defy by Columbia. He has landed Tranquility Base. Eagle is at Tranquility, over.
It's interesting that they're referring to it as Tranquility Base.
Well, good show.
That was a confirmation to Columbia.
Stop reset.
and people have the audacity to say there's not much new going on these days. I think that one's erased for a long time.
I'd like to know what some of those kids
The
we
next
talked
major
to.
stay, no stay, will be for the T2 event. That is at 21 minutes, 26 seconds after initiation of powered descent.
Columbia went up telemetry command reset to reacquire on the high game.
Copy out.
This is a 9-minute period that they have in which they could, under certain phasing conditions, take off again and make re-rendezvous within 2 orbits of the nominal.
Yes.
But they're not. They now have the stay for that period, so they're apparently not even considering leaving again at this time. They
We
got
have
another.
an unofficial time for that touchdown of 102 hours, 45 minutes, 42 seconds, and we will update that.
Time which will be in the history books
Eagle
forever.
Houston, you loaded R2 wrong. We want 10254.
I'd like to know what those kids who are kind of poo-pooing this thing
Roger.
are saying right at this moment. I'd like to know what they thought in those moments when our mouths were in our throats. How can anybody turn off of a world like this?
Yep.
They had quite a bit of tolerance in that landing speed. They could have gotten up to almost 7 miles an hour, 6.8 miles an hour. The struts are made to withstand that. But they came in apparently right on.
Horizontal 5515.2.
You heard those.
Affirmative.
Buzz, this is Houston. Radio check and verify TV circuit breaker in.
Roger, TV circuit breakers in. Page 5 clear.
Roger.
You got a good picture, huh?
There's a great deal of contrast in it, and currently it's upside down on our monitor, but we can make out a fair amount of detail.
Okay, would you verify the position, the opening I ought to have on the camera?
Stand by.
There's that foot coming down.
There he is.
Yeah.
There's a foot coming down the steps.
Okay, Neil, we can see you coming down the ladder now.
Neil, we can see you coming. Okay, I just checked getting back up to that first step. It's not even collapsed too far, but it's adequate to get back up.
Roger, we copy.
It's a pretty good little jump.
So there's a foot on the moon, stepping down on the moon. If he's testing that first step, he must be stepping down on the moon at this point. 10.
Buzz, this is Houston. F2, 1/160th second for shadow photography on the sequence camera.
Okay. I'm at the foot of the ladder. The LEM footpads are only pressed in the surface about 1 or 2 inches, although the surface appears to be very, very fine-grained as you get close to it. It's almost like a powder. Ground mass is very fine.
Boy, look at those pictures. Wow. It's a little shadowy, but he said he expected that in the shadow of the lunar module. Armstrong is on the moon.
Yeah,
Neil
step off the
Armstrong,
LEM now.
38-year-old American, standing on the surface of the moon on this July 20th, 1969.
That's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind.
I think that was Neil's quote. I didn't understand it.
No, one small step for man, but I didn't get the second phrase. One of our monitors here at our space
As
headquarters
the
is able to hear that. We'd like to know what it was.
surface is fine and powdery, I can pick it up loosely with my toe. It does adhere in fine layers, like powdered charcoal, to the sole and sides of my boot.
His
I
quote
only
was,
go in,
that's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind.
I can see the footprints of my boots and the treads in the fine sandy particles.
Neil, this is Houston. We're copying.
Oh, thank you, television, for letting us watch this one.
Isn't this something? 240 miles, 1,000 miles out there in the moon, and we're seeing this
There
history
seems to
being
be no
made.
difficulty in moving around as we suspected. It's even perhaps easier than the simulations of 16G that we performed in various simulations on the ground. Absolutely no trouble to walk around.
See, that's good news.
The descent engine did not leave a crater of any size. It has about 1 foot clearance on the ground. We're essentially on a very level place here. I can see some evidence of rays emanating from the descent engine, but very insignificant amount.
To hurry up and fix it.
Now we're getting a negative picture back. Switch to negative polarity.
Are we ready to bring down the camera? I'm all ready. I think it's 2 miles squared away in good shape. Okay.
That's
Okay,
Armstrong.
you'll have to pay out all the LEC, Ned. Looks like it's coming out nice and evenly.
That's the lunar
Okay, it's,
equipment conveyor, that tether
Quite
line.
dark here in the shadow and a little hard for me to see it. I have good footing. I'll work my way over into the sunlight here without looking directly into the sun.
I don't know where in the Houston converter or where this picture has gone to negative polarity, but we hope we get it fixed shortly. At least we can make out the figure of Neil Armstrong there.
Unofficial time on the first step, 109.0.
Okay, I think you're pulling the wrong one. Okay, I'm ready to pull it down now. There was still a little bit left in the... Okay, don't hold it quite so tight. Okay?
As we said, this is like a clothesline. It's going to bring down a sequence camera now for pictures. And then a little later on in this...
Looking up at the lamb, I'm standing directly in the shadow now, looking up at Buzz in the windows. And I can see everything quite clearly. The light is sufficiently bright, backlighted into the front of the lamp, that everything is very clearly visible.
So man's first words, Neil Armstrong's first words,
Okay, I'm going to be changing it.
that's one small step for man,
Okay.
one giant leap for mankind. He found the bottom step of the ladder, slightly awry, but says it give no difficulty in climbing back up to the lunar module when they complete this walk. He's found the surface far more powdery than they had anticipated. He's sinking in by about 1/8 of an inch. You can see his footprints in the fine particles, lunar dust adhering to his boot. No difficulty in moving around, easier than the simulations on Earth. He has about 25 minutes of activity here alone on the moon's surface, testing the environment, moving around like this, taking a good look at the lunar module, which he's given us a check on. Seems to be in good shape. Very little scoring of the moon's surface by the descent propulsion system engine. The pads settled nicely, but not very deeply, into this fine powdery sand, or fine powdery surface of the moon. Apparently it's in good position to provide the platform for takeoff, or we have heard something about that by now from him.
The surgeon says that
Camera installed on the RCU bracket.
surgeon says the crew is doing well. Data is good, crew is doing well.
And I'm still in the LEC on the secondary strut.
That would seem to indicate that they're not overexerting, I gather.
That's good
Wally. They're
news.
not
That's
using
right.
too much oxygen, or they're not big enough, too much heat for the cooling system.
Another one of our concerns erased. The fact that there isn't that much work, they're not stressing.
Step out and take some of my first pictures here.
For still pictures. It's not the sequence camera, which I've in the
Reading you loud and clear. Let's see, get some pictures and the contingency sample.
I think that the flight plan actually called for him to take the contingency sample first and then the pictures. As I recall, all of my reading of the plan up to now, the contingency sample went first.
35.5 minutes of PLSS time expended now.
He's confirmed, too, that they're on a very level place there, which is good, and was partly because of his own skill in making that manual landing after it looked like they were coming down in a very rough area.
You know, it may be that Neil elected not to gather up a contingency sample because he feels there's no contingency here. He's showing great confidence that they'll do everything they intend to do.
It very well could be.
This is Houston. Do you copy about the contingency sample? Over.
All right, you're going to get to that just as soon as I finish these picture series.
Well, he kind of twisted the order around a little bit. You may be right, Wally, as to what's in his mind, because the contingency sample really is superfluous if they go on with the rest of the walk and get the full samples, the 100 pounds or so of rock, and the documented samples of rock, in which they identify rock by rock, where they got it, and picture where they got it, and all that sort of thing. Although Newell's kind of shaking his head there about that. I think Newell Trask wants that contingency sample first, just like I said in the flight plan. Want to be sure he gets that pocket full of surface rock.
Make sure we get something.
Right.
I have an idea we're going to get everything we want.
I wouldn't be surprised.
It's just going so beautifully.
The moving around and the exertion that they're showing in doing that, or that Neil's showing so far, is, of course, the great thing that they've learned already. And
Okay,
this
you're going to get the contingency sample there. All right.
now Aldrin's been bugging him for it. Commander's going to get tired of those kibitzers in a minute and get them up to contingency sample just to quiet them. Nag, nag, nag.
He stepped out of the field of view. I wonder what he's up to now.
Contingency sample is down and it's up sample.
Contingency sample.
It's a little difficult to dig through the initial crust. Very interesting. It's a very soft surface, but here and there where I plug with the contingency sample collector, I run into very hard surface, but it appears to be very cohesive material of the same sort. I'm
In
trying to
other
get a
words,
rock in here.
you know, he's got this little
A couple.
sort of bag on a sharp rim that he's dragging along with an extension handle across the surface, and he's finding, as he reports there, that it's hard to get it to dig in.
It has a stark beauty all its own. It's like much of the high desert of the United States. It's different, but it's very pretty out here.
Very pretty.
That's the first compliment the moon's had.
A lot of the rock samples out here, the hard rock samples, have what appear to be vesicles in the surface.
Appear to be what, Newell?
Vesicles.
Also, I'm looking at one now
Oh.
that appears to have some
Holes.
sort of phenocryst.
Phenocryst, typical of volcanic rocks.
Houston, roger that.
Okay, the handle is off the it pushes in about 6-8 inches into the surface. Like it's pretty easy to It is. It's I'm sure I could push it in farther, but it's hard for me to bend down farther than that. Now you could throw so far. You can really throw things a long way up here. My pocket open, bud? Yes, it is. It's not up against your suit, though. Hit it back once more. Work more toward the inside. Okay, that's good. That in the pocket? Yeah, push down. Got it? No, it's not all the way in. Push it. Good. There you go.
Engine, the sample is in the pocket. My oxygen is 81%. I have no flags, and I'm in minimum flow. This is Houston, Roger, Neil.
Okay, I got the camera going at 1 frame a second. Okay. And I've got 80%, no flags. Good. Are you getting a TV picture now, Houston?
Neil, yes, we are getting a TV picture. Neil, this is Houston. We're getting a picture. You're not in at the present time. We can see the bag on the LEC being moved by Buzz, though. Here you come into our field of view.
Hey, look at the bounding step.
Walking
Oh,
fast.
Buzz, let me move that over the
What?
for you.
Okay, ready for me to come out?
Yeah, just stand by a second. I'll move this over the handrail.
Talk about being super casual.
Yeah. Boy, it looks like fun, doesn't it? Hope he doesn't get too casual.
All right, that's got it. Are you ready?
All set.
I almost thought that was a simulation. He was moving so fast.
Okay, you saw what difficulties I was having. I'll try to watch your bliss from underneath here.
Aldrin about to emerge, apparently, from the spacecraft. And Armstrong's going to try to help guide him from below. Said he'd watch his bliss, his portable life support system, as he climbs out so it doesn't hit the top of the hatch.
Okay, your bliss looks like it's clear and okay. The toes are about to come over the sill. Okay, now drop your bliss down. There you go, you're clear. And laterally, you're good. Got an inch clearance on top of your bliss.
Okay, you need a little bit of arching of the back to come down. That's like what they're doing. How far are my feet from the edge?
Okay, you're right at the edge of the porch.
Okay. Back in from... Small little foot movement. Porch. Arching of the back. Moment comes up and clears the... okay, without any trouble at all.
Looks good.
.45 minutes PLSS time expended.
It's 45 minutes out of a total of 4
Neil,
hours.
this is Houston. Based on your camera transfer with the LEC, do you foresee any difficulties in SRC transfer over?
Difficulties in SR.
Negative.
SRC is this sample rock container that
That's
the
the
box.
sample return containers, the rock boxes that Capcom.
Now I want to back up and partially close the hatch.
In case anybody comes by, they want the door closed.
This camera angle makes those steps look like they're vastly higher than they really
Making
are.
sure not to lock it on my way out.
Particularly good thought.
What did he say?
I'll make sure not to lock it.
I'm going to take good care of it. Okay, I'm on the top step, and I can look down over the RCU and landing gear pad. It's a very simple matter to hop down from one step to the next.
There he comes.
Yes, I found it to be very comfortable, and walking is also very comfortable. You've got 3 more steps and then a long one.
Watch that last step.
I guess they expected that strut to compact a little bit more, but as a result, it's a long step from
Okay,
the...
I'm going to leave that 1 foot up there and both hands down about the 4th rung up. There you go.
Welcome home.
And now we have
Okay, now I think I'll
2
do the
Americans on the moon.
A little more. About another inch. There, you got it?
Look
That's a
at
good step. Yep.
That's
About a
a-
3-footer.
3-foot first step with 1/6 gravity, and look at that. It's like being on a...
Beautiful, beautiful.
Isn't that something? Magnificent sight out here.
Magnificent desolation.
like walking on a trampoline.
Oh, my.
Aldrin's first words.
TLSS is nominal
Beautiful
on
view.
consumables.
Looks like the secondary strut have little thermal effects on it right here, Neil.
Yeah, I noticed that. That's the